Welcome, Saber enthusiasts. I am Nick Nitro, and I am the Lord of the Crucible. And today, we've got another installment in our armor build. So, we're going to be doing a few, things to this piece of leather right here. But, just wanted to cover a couple of things right quick. I know my voice might sound a little off. I'm coming down off of a cold, so my apologies. But thank you all for tuning in and watching, and if you've got any other ideas for what I might do on my armor build, how I might approach it, or if you just have some ideas for some interesting new projects, let me know down in the comments. I'd really love to hear from you. But today, we're going to go ahead and once again remove all of our hardware, and we're going to go ahead and color this piece and add a bit of texture to it. Got a nice hexagon stamp, so we're going to cover this whole thing in a hex pattern. And then, after everything's dried and sealed, I'm going to try and do a contrast paint. We'll see how that works out. But, as always, I'm really worried about this line here. This is where a piece was sewn in on top. So this may be a weak point. We'll see what happens. But if I can get by with this piece, well, that's what we're going to do. So, let's find out what happens. All right, first step, we're going to go ahead and take these straps off, and this will give us a much larger space and an even space to get everything stamped out appropriately. Okay, here we're going to go ahead and use our edging tool and just cut a border in around the edge. I just think it's going to make it look a lot nicer, a lot cleaner. Now this is the part that took the longest. I'm using a hexagon stamping tool that I got from Amazon. It was about $10, but this process took about 4 hours and cost me about 3 smashed thumbs and 2 index knuckles. So yeah, there's a learning process to this. But I can't argue with the results. They turned out really nice. Okay, here we're going to use our Fibings Pro Dye in black, and we're going to just recolor the whole thing. I don't use the best technique here, but I gotta say this stuff worked really well, and I erred on the side of caution here and actually did about 2 layers. After we let it dry, we're just going to give it a quick wipe down to remove any of the excess dye so it doesn't interfere with the next step. Look at that. So now we're going to be sealing our leather using Fibings Resolene. I've heard this is a really good sealant. This is my first time using it, so let's see what we get. I'm just going to apply this using like small circular motions, and I'm using a cotton dauber. You can get those for about $1.50 for a 10 pack at, I think, Hobby Lobby. After that's dried, we're going to go ahead and give this a quick little buff to bring out the shine. Man, is it shiny. I'm surprised. Wow. Now, I forgot to record me mixing this up, but what you see in the cup there is a mixture of Fibing's antiquing finish and Angela's light blue leather paint. And I'm just gonna put this on in sections and then wipe it off really quickly with a paper towel. I don't want it to dry too quick and stay on the surface. I just want to get this down in the cracks and then wipe everything off so that it just stays down in there and gives me my accent colors that I'm looking for. Now for our border, I'm going to go ahead and use the EcoFlow Kova Color Royal Blue. This didn't turn out quite the way I expected, so I actually had to mix up some paint. I ended up doing like 3 layers of this. So we'll see how it turns out, but so far I'm really pleased with the results. Another reason why I added that border with the grooving tool is that it actually helped me stay in the lines and keep everything straight when I was applying this border paint. So I think I'm going to keep doing that in the future. Okay, now that everything's dried and it's darkened up really well, we're going to add a final coat of Resin just to seal everything in and just kind of protect the paint job. And then we let that dry, and here it is after we've got it all buffed out. Then we just add our hardware back on and we're good to go. Well, here we are. That took a lot longer than I expected, but the results are absolutely fantastic. I mean, take a look at that. I did not expect it to turn out this good on my first attempt. This is just looking really good. So I'm really surprised by this. But it did take, all told, about 4 hours just to stamp in the pattern here. And then I wish I could say I had everything painted in one day, but there were multiple layers. You had to paint it, you had to let it dry, seal it, paint it. It took me about another 2 days to get the paint job the way I wanted it to. And this blue here, I started out with a royal blue, which was just a little too bright for me. I took the EcoFlow Kova Color Royal Blue, and I didn't have a black leather paint. So I ended up mixing in some Tester's model paint, about 2 to 1. It turned out really nice. It gave it just the right shade of darker blue that I wanted. We'll see how it holds up over time though. But for all that work, for my first attempt at making a bracer myself, I'd say this turned out really well. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you got any suggestions on how I could make this better, let me know. I'm still only about halfway done. I still have to mount the pocket here and get all of that taken care of, but we are well on our way. So So I'm Nick Nitro, and I'll see you in the Crucible.